What's up, everyone? I'm Nick Campo. This is
Big Boss Ben.
And we are the Lone Guys Podcast. Woo! Coming to you live from NBI Financial Group. This is the Campo Media Group Studios. And before we get started, we have a fire episode for you today. But before we get started, do us a favor and go to our YouTube channel. Bang the red subscribe button. Hit that little bell. Turn on the notifications. Thank you for everyone who's already done that. If you don't do it, follow us on all our social media. We are NBI Financial Group on all of them. My personal as well. Hit me up on Mortgage Mobster. What's yours?
Big Boss Ben.
Big Boss Ben. I don't know why that's his name, but he's Big Boss Ben. So,
because it's the truth.
Yes. Yeah, maybe. Let's just get right into it. Oh, that's right. March 17th, you're dyeing your hair green because we're doing a massive giveaway. A massive giveaway for a $100 Amazon gift card. You have to be subscribed to our YouTube channel. Turn on the notifications and make a comment on one of our full podcasts. Give us your thoughts on that podcast or something that we said in that podcast. Leave your Instagram handle as well, and you will automatically be entered into the giveaway that is now less than 3 weeks away. It's an awesome giveaway. We're trying to bring back jobs to Amazon after our boy Bezos. Well, actually, he's not in charge anymore, but they laid off a bunch of people. We are just trying to help the working class folks. Ben?
We are.
What do you got for me?
So, I don't even know if you heard this. Some breaking news out today, a couple hours ago.
Oh, no.
The White House announced a change in a mortgage program. Before I even tell you what it is, do you think it was positive or negative?
Negative.
So you think it probably was not a good thing?
I'm thinking that there was good intentions behind it, or because there's an election coming up, they're going to call it something like with a pretty name, like the Patriot Act. But the Patriot Act actually took all of our rights away as American citizens,
okay.
Our right to privacy, and that was. And I'm using the Patriot Act as one example of many that's happened with the United States government. That was under a Republican administration, so I just want everyone to know that. And this is a Democrat administration. I think that they're all the same. I think it's negative.
Okay. And granted, he had no idea.
No knowledge. I've been prospecting all day today, bringing in a bunch of business. We're absolutely crushing it. I will be a top 1% loan officer by the end of 2023.
Okay. So I actually think it's good news. So following what we talked about last week with the changes in the LLPAs, making it a priority for first-time homebuyers, White House announced that FHA is going to be following suit. What they are going to do, though, is they are lowering the upfront mortgage insurance by 30 bips.
30 basis points. That is awesome.
So that's going to, on average, save buyers about $800 a year.
That's great. I love that. That's a win for the White House.
That's awesome.
If the press release is correct, and if we look into the fine print and HUD and FHA and all them, if the fine print is saying what you're saying it's supposed to say, then I'm going to say win for the White House. Thank you.
Right. And I will say, I'm going to read a quote from the White House, too.
When you say the White House, is this President Biden giving the quote, or who is this?
No, this is the head of HUD, which is a part of the cabinet.
Okay, gotcha.
So that's why, yeah. So homeownership is currently the principal financial of wealth creation for most American households.
I've been saying that for months.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, years, but months on this podcast.
Right, exactly. But due to a nationwide shortfall in the supply of affordable homes and shifting demand of housing during the pandemic, first-time homebuyers have struggled in recent years to achieve homeownership. First-generation homebuyers and first-time homebuyers of color who are less likely to have sufficient resources for a sizable down payment due to long-standing gap and integrational wealth transfers have been particularly affected.
So a bunch of things. Let's break it down. Can we break it down?
Let's do it.
So 100%, that's a win.
Yes.
If the fine print, 30 basis points less in upfront mortgage insurance on FHA is a massive win, especially for first-time homebuyers. It's a massive win for minority communities. It's a massive win for underserved communities. It's a massive win for anybody who is looking to get into home ownership because the lack of inventory in this country has driven prices out of control. It's not greedy landlords. It's not greedy sellers. Somewhat of the inventory issue could be linked back to places like BlackRock and these big-time multi-billion-dollar corporations who are buying up a bunch of single-family residences to try to rent them out to you and to steal your wealth. That is a wealth transfer. So let's break down what was just said, right? So 30 basis points less in upfront mortgage insurance on FHA. Awesome win. Boom. The next thing they said, disproportionately affects minority communities. That's correct. Unfortunately for minority communities, like there's a socioeconomic gap there. Homeownership, and I've been saying this, whether it's minority communities, white communities, black communities, Mexican community, it doesn't matter what the community is. Homeownership is the number one way for the working class to build generational wealth in the United States of America. Real estate can change your life. Shout out to Sport Odie. Real estate can change your life, and it can do it through homeownership, becoming whatever. The housing market in America is one of the strongest in the world. Probably going to get some haters for it. It's one of the strongest in the world. So that's a huge thing. It's a huge win for all the underserved and less privileged from a socioeconomic standpoint communities.
Right. It's a massive win. Almost makes up for Wells Fargo.
No, nothing's going to wake up. Listen, you can't make up for the lack of competition in the market. You can't wait. Can you make up for a lack of competition in the market?
You cannot, but it is good to see. This is only going to be positive. It is good to see positive change make. I think this is the best report that I've seen come out of the White House since rent control.
Stop it. Stop it. Why would you let the White House have a win? And what happened with rent control?
I just want to get you going.
We're going to listen on Friday. I did a long form write-up for my LinkedIn and my Twitter people. I did a long form write-up, and it's about rent control. And it will be posted on my social media in the form of a thread on Twitter. It'll be a long form on LinkedIn. Donovan, should I post it on? I'm probably going to post it on Facebook. Should I post it on Facebook? Do people on Facebook know how to read? I don't know. But anyways, I'm going to post it on there as well. I better get it scheduled out because baby number 2 is about to be here. So I'm pretty excited about
Congratulations.
That. Yeah, just wish me good luck, not congratulations. So, cool. But yeah, I'm excited. So we'll have that posted on Friday. I'm excited about that. This is a win for the White House. Rent control is not a win for the White House. Rent control is a way to transfer the wealth, and they mentioned wealth transfers.
They did.
So can we talk about the wealth transfer?
Yeah.
This is where people in America need to have a little bit more financial literacy, and that might be something we talk about in this episode. But
okay.
Understand what's happening in markets and understand what happens when we go into a quote unquote recession and people lose their jobs and they have to start spending on credit cards and they eat up all their savings and the government prints $1.7 trillion in funding. Understand what happens. That's a wealth transfer. All that stuff right there, I said, those are considered wealth transfers. COVID and the lockdowns was considered what? A wealth transfer.
It was.
There's a lot of wealth transfers that happen here in this country that are done under a stealthy disguise that are said to be able to help people. Rent control is one of those that they say is going to help with affordable housing or affordable rent. That's not helping. What we should be doing is stuff like the FHA program, 30 bips less, to help people actually purchase a primary residence instead of having to rent, because renting is a wealth transfer. But I also preach that, hey, you don't always need to just go buy a house because it's a big responsibility. Take some time to rent and save up money. That's okay. Yep. But I also believe it's okay to be a landlord and be a compassionate landlord. Don't let people take advantage of you, but be a compassionate landlord, right? And use that as, comprehensive real estate plan, have goals, have dreams, do all of that. You use that to build wealth for your family. Here's the thing. We can all win. People in comments will say, and they are saying this in one of our TikTok videos, has 7,800 views, and they're saying, What was it? Capitalism doesn't work. No, capitalism works as long as you're not lazy, right? And it's funny because the people who scream capitalism doesn't work, they'll yell and they'll say, hey, look at that rich person. Where did he get their money? Well, let me tell you something. If you're looking and counting someone else's dollars and where they got it from, you ain't making money. That doesn't put money in your pocket. Stop worrying about them. Look inward, look at you, and get better.
And here's the thing I want to bring up on that regard, because you look at, for example, tax credits towards businesses. A lot of people out there look at that and say, oh, it's just the rich getting tax benefits and getting free things. No, you have to look at what do those tax benefits go towards? They go towards the business being able to have the better cash flow, which is going to allow them to hire more people.
Which is wild.
Create more jobs. Guess what happens? You say it's a win for everyone. It is. The business gets the ability to run smoother, hire more people, so people get jobs, a boost for them. Not only that, you look at the government, they're going to get income tax. There's ways that they're going to be able to get more tax revenue that goes towards things that we need taxes for. It's a win all the way around.
taxes are theft. I think you listen. The rate at which we're getting taxed at right now is crazy.
Yes, it is.
Like, you can make, what, $40,000 a year and you're getting hit 27% in taxes or something wild like that. Pull up the tax code, right? Or the tax brackets. It's insane. That's way too much. We need our government to stop spending money and to stop spending and printing money and to start taxing us less. Now, should there be some tax for like roads and things of that nature? Yes. Absolutely. And we need to figure that out. But what's happening right now? Now, with that being said, what you talked about, tax benefits for businesses, right?
Right.
Amazon going to New York. This was a story a few years ago. AOC, as smart as she was, thought that they were just giving Amazon money. No, that's not the case. There isn't a pile of money that's sitting there that they're giving to this business in a tax benefit. What they're doing is reducing the tax on that business to incentivize them to come to these communities.
And hire more people.
And hire more people. And the job, and Amazon ended up not going to New York because of that. Guess what that would have done for those citizens? It would have created multiple, I'm talking like 70, 80, 100 six-figure paying jobs just in that fact. And guess what? It would have also created more jobs for, your laborers. People who are laborers need jobs, right?
They do.
How about this? I'm going to use one example. If you're coming out of prison with a felony, right, it's very hard to find good paying job.
Right.
They could have gotten hired in that factory at $17 to $20 an hour, maybe even more, with a felony record and had a stable form of income. And guess what? One of the things and one of the studies that we see is if you have employment and you're making money and you're able to survive, you're less likely to get in trouble. So we chased away a business because we thought AOC thought that they were giving a bunch of money to Amazon, but that money would have created more tax revenue for that district. It would have created more high-paying jobs. And the other thing they don't talk about is what spins off. What's the spin-off here? Here's what the spin-off is. Restaurants are going to open around there.
Right.
Retail shops are going to open around there. So it creates a whole socio-economic upbringing of that community. And yes, some of the jobs are going to go to the people who are moving into that community to help it, but a lot of those jobs are going to the community member, and it creates what? More jobs, which creates more competition for the employee, which drives up wages. And at the end of the day,
everyone wins.
Everyone wins. And if you're paying less taxes, if I'm paying less taxes, if businesses are paying less taxes, but more people are making money, there are more people spending, so you can actually pay less taxes to create more tax revenue to build up our infrastructure, to put towards our schools. All good things.
I mean, yeah, all great things.
How's that for financial literacy?
I mean, that's a pretty good start. But I mean, financial literacy is something that we are both passionate about. Uh-huh. We both agree that we are in a financial literacy crisis, is what it's called.
I think we're in a literacy crisis.
Well,
I agree with you though.
Right. I mean, it's not being taught at a young age. It's
not being taught at all in high school.
I mean, in the majority of states, no. There are a few states, but
yeah, I mean, there are.
I think there's like 7
with elective classes though.
Or a lot of them, yeah.
It's not part of the curriculum.
Right. And they get out. I was looking at a study the other day. It's 46% of teens don't even know what a 401k is.
46%?
Right.
That's probably just about the same amount of adults that don't know what the 401k is. Like,
probably so. I mean, we've talked about this before. 3 in 5 people do not have a budget.
3 in 5 people don't have a budget. 46% of teenagers don't know what the 401k is.
Right.
Do you want to know how you become an everyday millionaire?
How? Dave
Ramsey shout out. By investing smartly in your 401k at a young age, having gainful employment, and just having financial literacy in general.
It is. I mean, we always talk about real estate being able to drive wealth, which it absolutely does. It is the best way to drive wealth right now in this country. The most affordable way with a tool like a mortgage that is spread out over 30 years.
Right.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, we also are saying it's great to diversify. We're not sitting here saying, oh, real estate's the only way. We're just saying it is extremely underappreciated for the tool that it is.
You can become a millionaire a bunch of different ways.
You can. And a 401k is a great thing to have, especially if you do start at a young age. If you start at 22, 23, I mean, imagine how much that's going to do over the next 30, 40 years.
A lot.
It compounds continuously.
What do you mean compounds?
So meaning the amount that you have, the interest that you are receiving is based off the amount on that account. So while it increases, you're going to gain some interest. Your balance is going to go up. What happens the next year? You have more in there. So that is going to generate even more.
So
even
for
more,
example,
even more.
If you have and we're going to use even numbers,
yes.
$100,000 in an account.
Right.
That's a 401k.
Yes.
And on average, you're making 5% a year. You'll have $105,000 next year.
Right.
And then the following year, that 5% would be
of
5% of 105. So you make a little bit more.
Whatever.
And then you add that to the 105, and then it's
next thing you know, you're 200,000, and then you're adding 10,000. So you're doubled the amount.
It's almost the same as appreciation, right? So if you have a $300,000 house this year, right, and then the housing market goes up by 10%, it's going to be how much next year? $330,000 next year. Yeah. And then if it goes up at 10%, it's 10% of 330,000, which was why I preach buying a primary residence young, because you're going to get that compounding appreciation, just like I preach.
You will.
This is not financial advice because I'm not a 401k person or a financial advisor, but I would tell somebody if they ask my opinion to invest young in your 401k, it's going to pay dividends in the long run. If you start investing in your 401k in your 20s, you'll probably be okay to retire by early 60 if you just do that.
Right. And we are not, you're correct. We're not financial advisors, but we are mortgage professionals. And the way that a mortgage is structured with the amortization schedule is pretty much the exact same way. It's the same principle behind it.
Right.
Because it's just in reverse. So the interest that you're paying is going to be, you're paying the same payment each month, but guess what? As your loan balance goes down, the amount of your payment that goes towards interest is going to go down.
Correct.
So meaning you're building up more equity each payment that you make. Mm-hmm. That's the secret really behind our comprehensive real estate plan. It is putting it, I mean, it is. I mean, I hate to spoil it, but it's putting it together in an extremely intelligent way that takes advantage of it. I mean, there's a lot more to it than just that. It's not just one thing, but that's the basis behind it.
Right. 100%. Agreed. Financial literacy is an absolute must.
Right. It's not super complicated. I mean, we're not geniuses. We're not here breaking the mold on anything. But we have done the research. We have put in the work for our clients to be able to advise and teach.
We're not reinventing the wheel.
Exactly. We're not. We're putting basic principles into practice for the mortgage side of investments.
And it's sad that we're the ones trying to bring this information and education to people, right? This is like common knowledge, or should be common knowledge.
It is.
Like, you want to talk about, hey, how do we break the mold of crime? How do we break the mold of or high crime areas? How do we bring wealth into communities that have never had wealth before, right? You want to know how you do it? How? Education and financial literacy. Start teaching this stuff at a young age.
You talk about math, like just in education. Yeah, but I mean, look at math curriculums. Like you get into learning about calculus and all.
We'll never use it.
Well, I mean, certain people might, like if you're engineers or something like that. I mean, there's certain professions out there where you need to know it. It has a value.
Well, that's another thing too, though. Let's talk about this. Because we're losing the education battle here in America.
Right. But why is that a common curriculum for every single high school, college out there? Meanwhile, you look at simple interest calculations. What every single American out there has a value to know that. Whether it be some sort of investment in a retirement account. I mean, you have like stocks, you have a mortgage. It all plays a part into it. Credit cards, like there's so many, interest plays such a big part in the everyday life of an American. The fact that it's not taught in schools is ridiculous.
It's absolutely
blasphemous.
It's baffling. I'm going to touch on something. Our math and science departments have gone way down. We aren't teaching it at the same rate as we used to. So we aren't even developing the engineers of other countries. And you can look at the rankings of education systems, and other countries are surpassing us day in and day out. People don't want to hear that. The other piece is yes, we've built more wealth than any other nation in the world. We have, what's considered the poverty line here in America is considered rich in most countries. That's crazy to think about that, right? So that's absolutely awesome. But what we have done is we've gotten fat and happy. Americans have gotten fat and happy. I joke around about this all the time, right? We have gotten fat and happy as a country. People ask me, hey, Nick, who are you looking to hire? I say immigrants. But I'm kidding, obviously, because there are some very hardworking Americans. But what I have found, and this is the truth, that if you legally immigrate to this country, legal immigrants have a way higher % chance of becoming millionaires in America than Americans born in America.
Yeah.
Why is that? Because guess what? Pressure, you know what pressure does? It creates diamonds. And if you're coming to this country, you're leaving your country for a reason, which means you probably had some hard times. And if you had hard times, you've gone through adversity. And then you respect what it is that we have in this country because we are the greatest country in the world. And you and I sitting here are perfect examples of that. We are doing very well as a business. And in other countries, we don't even have the right to start the business without the government owning at least a portion of it. China, I'm looking at you. TikTok might get banned after that comment. But long story short, you have to look at it from the standpoint of we're being surpassed by other countries in math and sciences as it is. Other countries are creating things at a higher rate. Why were we great at creating things? Freedom. The freedom to create, right? We also had great education system. We were taught well. But the other piece of it is we need to start teaching financial literacy. You're only as strong as your weakest link is a great saying, right? So if I'm going to look at this from a financial, we're only as strong as our poorest person. How do we lift the poorest people up out of poverty? We lift the poorest people up out of poverty, not by giving them something for free, not by giving them Social Security, not by giving them unemployment, not by doing what's that new thing that they're just giving away $800 a month in certain communities as a test to see if that helps. That's not how you lift people up. You lift people up by educating them. You lift them up by teaching them to fish, right? You teach a person to fish, they can eat for a lifetime. You don't just give the money away, right? So you go in and you create incentives within these communities that are lower socioeconomic communities, and you get them financially literate. And then you teach them what they can do with a degree in science. Hey, you can become a doctor. You're here in America. And then incentivize them to become a doctor, right?
Absolutely.
Teach them how to work hard towards a goal that they may have. Not that if they're in a lower socioeconomic community that they aren't working hard, but what I'm saying is instead of working hard at doing this, work hard at doing this and there's a financial reward, but then teach them, hey, credit card debt, that's terrible. Because guess who credit cards, payday loans, places like that, you know what they target? They target low socioeconomic communities, people who don't have the financial literacy, which is a growing segment of our population. So they're going after those people and they're targeting them. Hey, here's a payday loan. Just pay me back, but it's 50% interest. Oh, you borrowed $20, give me 30 back. A week later. That's insane if you look at the numbers, right? That should not be a thing. So financial literacy needs to be taught in our communities here in America, and you will lift the lowest people out of poverty. And guess what? Everybody can win. We're in a global economy right now. America can win on a scale it's never won before by educating people on financial literacy and also getting kids in school again and making our school systems actually work.
The average credit card interest rate as of right now,
33%.
21.88%.
21.88%.
That is wild.
So that is what? For every $100, it's $21?
Yeah.
$21. Man, now put that on $10,000 scale. That's $2,100.
Exactly. And when you consider that 60% of Americans have excessive credit card debt, meaning more.
How many?
60%.
60%. What's 60% of 380 million? 380 million, 60%, more than half the country has excessive credit card debt. What's considered excessive?
That means that's not paid off regularly.
So it's not paid off every month.
Correct.
60% of Americans have a credit card that's not paid off every month, and on average, 21% interest. So 60% of America is paying 21% interest on a credit card that is not paid every single month.
That's right.
And then people call Dave Ramsey crazy for saying pay off your debt.
He's not crazy. The part that we disagree, and we're talking about credit cards, right? At 21.88%.
Terrible.
A mortgage, or compare that to a mortgage, and the one thing that we both disagree with Dave Ramsey on is the mortgage is a great tool.
It is a great tool.
Because I mean, even high end, I mean, you're looking at 7.5% interest rate. I mean, the highest we really go is like 7.75 right now is the highest I've seen lately on a rate sheet.
And that's for an investment property.
Right. Yeah. That's for like a cash out investment property.
That's like the highest interest rate around.
That's
it's the riskiest loan, highest interest rate
highest
around.
You will see. it's wild comparing to it. And then you also have to compare that it's over 30 years.
Yep.
So, I mean, the amount of payment that you're making is extremely low, and it's a tool that is building you appreciation as well.
Right.
A credit card isn't, I mean, what are you buying with it? How is that going to make you build wealth? It's not. A mortgage is a tool that builds wealth through appreciation, through building equity, because a lot of those mortgage payments also goes to you in principle. And we've just talked about how you're going to get more and more of it each month.
And then if you buy your primary residence and then get into a few investment properties, we can also show you how to pay those off a lot quicker through amortization schedules. So there's a lot of stuff that we can do that really helps the consumer. And that's why we build wealth through real estate. So I agree with you. I think they're getting replaced too.
I think that's something. I also think
which will be good, I think, because you'll have a more consistent idea of what homes are worth. But at the same time, maybe it's bad. What if somebody hacks the system?
Yeah. Well, I mean, but that's technology for everything.
Have you ever seen iRobot? Like, seriously, have you ever seen it? Yeah, that's where we're going.
They didn't drive cars. Like, you couldn't even do anything.
Right, because it was safer. And that's happening. They're going to have self-driving cars at some point soon to where if you hop in your automobile to drive down the road, it will at some point in the future, and when I say near future, less than 100 years, be illegal to manually drive a car. I got in an argument at a car show about this. But it's the same thing. Like, we won't have underwriters anymore. We'll have somebody who oversees and knows all the guidelines that we're supposed to have. And we'll have somebody who oversees it, like a compliance person who's basically the smartest underwriters out there will be compliance people who are just overseeing everything. If there's ever a question on the technology, but the technology is going to be so good that we aren't going to need that. Like, their job's going to be very boring. They aren't going to be doing much.
Yep. The other thing too that I believe is going to change is title and closings. And I think it'll drastically change. Now, this may take a little longer because you're going to have to get courts and stuff to have their records digitized, which is going to, especially in a lot of counties, take a while.
They'll have to raise our taxes to be able to flip over to electronic.
Right. Probably so. But I mean, think about it. Like, courts are going that way. Everything's being digitized. And when you get to it, you're going to be able to pull all those records, and you can get AI to do title work. Like,
you don't think that's bad?
Instantly.
Like, all this technology, like, I think technology is good from an efficiency standpoint, but you take, like, and you're kind of a weirdo, so you don't like human interaction. You take the human interaction out of it, and you take the compassion out of it. So that old saying, business is business, this now becomes business is business. There's no actual underwriter. There's no, It's a Wonderful Life, where George Bailey is the nice banker and Mr. Potter's the big evil corporation, right? That's what that whole movie is based off of. Right. And George Bailey can sit down and shake Donovan's hand and say, Donovan, you're a good guy. I know you have a job, and I know you believe in paying back your debt. I'm going to give you the opportunity. That's gone. That's gone. It's in the government's hands now, right? Because of FHA, HUD, that the government controls that. So if you want to speak of how capitalistic are we as a country, not very. If HUD controls, like, first-time home buyers, and if they can or cannot get into homes, right? Can't be too capitalistic, can we?
No, and
so at the end of the day, you don't think it's scary that we're taking human interaction out of everything?
No, I mean, I do.
I mean,
look, I'm not sitting here saying, oh, it's the greatest thing ever.
It's going to happen.
Right, exactly. That's all I'm saying is it's going to happen. This is the direction that we are going.
We are literally we're making humans obsolete with the technology that we have.
But humans never will be obsolete.
No.
Why? You mentioned it yourself.
This is first off, a weird episode.
You have sales. You have sales, for one.
Until they figure out how do we sell without the human. Right? You don't think at some point that this intelligence being is smarter than the human being? Like, we're getting rid of court systems. We're going to get rid of title and closings and lawyers. And, like, think about all the places of the job that we're getting, like, billion-dollar organizations are getting. And now it won't happen completely because you're going to have the biggest companies who are going to lobby on Washington to put in restrictions and barriers to entry.
Right.
But what happens if one of those companies just so happens to be Microsoft, who's now in control of ChatGPT, who is now trying to profit off of it? And that is like,
so, I mean, but because I see where you're going with this too. Like, because I mean, if they take up all the jobs, where are people going to work? But you also have to think from the business standpoint as well, is who's going to buy their product if no one has a job and no one has the ability to?
There's always going to be new job creation. So the
exactly.
job creation,
economy will always balance itself out.
If it's truly free.
Right. And it will. It will find a way. I mean, it's a whole Jurassic Park thing. Life will find a way, and it will.
I knew you were a nerd.
But it's true. Like it's. You can sit here and this could be a bad thing. This can be, and look, I'm not sitting here saying because you're going to have a need for people. I do not believe it'll ever be a place where technology is going to be, and you're not going to have any person doing anything.
What scares me is these alternate realities and stuff that people are creating. Like, what's that alien-looking guy who owns Facebook, Zuckerberg? You put on these goggles, and you're in an alternate reality, and birth rates are dropping.
Digital real estate mortgage is coming soon.
Well, Snoop Dogg owns the digital real estate, right? So
does he?
Yeah, he has digital real estate, and like it's a real thing because you put on these virtual glasses and you can go and virtually shop, and people spend actual money through the internet and paying like that. But it's all virtual 3D, 4D stuff, right?
Right.
So Snoop Dogg bought up a bunch of virtual reality virtual reality real estate because now that's actually having a value. Like a fake reality is creating value. So there's two separate worlds. There's a digital world, and then there's now our world.
And then there's the metaverse.
I don't know what it's called, but there's a couple different.
Shit, we were about to do a podcast on this a while ago.
There's a couple different universes. I'm not giving the metaverse any free fucking publicity. I can't stand it. Like, I think it's bad. I think it's bad for people. I think you have to have human interaction. Emotions are a real thing. I said something earlier today. Feelings and business don't mix. That's a lie. To be a good leader, you have to take into consideration people's feelings, right? And I think that's a good thing because it stops people like me who don't want to focus on feelings from not focusing on feelings and becoming just a ruthless person, right? It's a checks and balances, just like the economy is a check and balance. I don't think it's a great thing that we go all artificial intelligence. I really don't. I just don't. I just think that you have to have some human compassion in there at some place. Don't be over compassionate. Don't be stupidly compassionate. But you have to have some type of mortgage compassion, or human compassion in mortgage.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree. Like I said, I'm not buying that it's going to go completely gone because you have to get people to buy your products, to get people to buy into what you're doing. It's that personal connection, that culture is what builds a good business.
Culture does build a good business.
Yeah, and you're not going to have a good business without a good culture.
Right.
I truly believe that. So like I said, I don't think people are going away. I think people that get too AI driven, too technology driven are going to suffer. But I mean, I do think it's a great tool. And I also believe, like I said, it's not going to necessarily hurt people because life will find a way. So with that being said, I want to remind everyone one last time to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, like this video, and leave a comment. Leave a comment on the video. You can say how much better looking I am than this guy over here. And make sure you leave your Instagram handle because we are having a $100 Amazon gift card giveaway coming up on St. Patty's Day. That is the 17th of March. And also, while you're at it, go ahead and follow all of our social media. That's Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Rumble, TikTok. Yep, absolutely. We had a video go viral on TikTok.
Not anymore. They changed the definition of viral.
Well, yeah. Anyways, and with that being said,
what'd you say? So we had 2 videos. 2 videos go viral.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. Look at it, it's like went at 9,816.
Damn, 9,816, 7,800. That's great work, Donovan. That's
right.
That's Donovan.
We talk about coming in and working hard.
All we have to do is make Donovan
one guy
a director,
right there.
and next thing you know, we just boom, we're rewarded.
That's right.
That's the social media guys right there.
Right, the value of a person.
Right. Right, value of a person. So cool, awesome. What do we got next?
That's it.
That's the episode.
Yeah,
Donovan. How much time?
We're running
do we
short
have
on
left?
time.
5 minutes.
5 minutes. We went to Ben's Den, right? Ben,
We don't have enough time for that. Well, I'm going to do a separate video for that.
just do a 3-minute quick Ben's Den on something you see in the market. All right, I'll do a Ben's Den.
Yeah, you do. Nick Unleashed.
Nick Unleashed. I like that. Oh, yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Well, let me do this real quick. So we got invited to something really cool up at one of our big-time mortgage lenders. Shout out United Wholesale Mortgage. Also, shout out AFR and Chris Fisher. watching our podcast, subscribed and liked our videos, actually sending us a nice message today. AFR does a lot of construction stuff. We're getting more into construction second quarter. That's a big goal of ours. So I want to say shout out to Chris Fisher. Thank you for watching it. Also,
John Lyon at EPM also.
John Lyon. Shout out to John Lyon. I really appreciate you watching us.
Yep.
I appreciate everyone who watches this. I really do. This is something that's very enjoyable to us. It's probably going to get us in trouble because we aren't public speakers and we misspeak at times and things of that nature. But we have good hearts, both of us, and we want the best for people. And we want to figure out a solution to a lot of our problems here in this country. Shout out to Andrew Kuhn over at UWM. But anyways, what I was getting at is United Wholesale. Anyone else we need to give a quick shout out to that's watching our videos?
I mean, everyone out there.
Everyone out here who's reached out to us. Josh Habib, shout out to you. Neil Arnold, shout out to you. Like, just a bunch of people who've reached out to us just this week. Those are off the top of my head. If you want us to shout you out, reach out to us. But make sure you bang that red subscribe button on YouTube and turn on notifications. But we got invited to a leadership thing up at United Wholesale because they recognize us as one of the fastest mortgage brokers, mortgage shops from a growth standpoint, and they know where we're trying to go. And we've talked about goals with different AEs of ours and so on and so forth. So we get to meet Matt Ishbia, have a meeting of the minds and so on and so forth, right? We're super excited about that. There's Leadership Council. Shout out to Dave Schroeder, too, who reached out to me about some leadership stuff. He wants me to do these leadership breakfasts, which I really want to do because I need to become a better leader. I'm not a great leader right now, but I want to be better, right? So we really appreciate that. And one of the things that we're focusing on is hiring loan officers away from retail lenders because we're the fastest growing segment in mortgage, the broker channel, the wholesale channel. And retail loan officers need to understand that they're going to make more money with us, have more options. We do more from them at our company than their company is going to do. We have more support for them. They get great guidance and leadership by people who have come in, and within 6 months, we did $20+ million in fundings in our first 6 months of the business. We have a proven method, right? Yeah. So one of the things I do want to take the last 5 minutes, and Donovan, just circle me when we have to go. I want to talk about what is it that we're doing for loan officers to help them be successful that is different and why they should come work for NBI Financial Group instead of that retail lender. Now, if you work for a mortgage broker, I don't want to take you from that mortgage broker. I believe in not stealing from my wholesale channel brethren and sisterins. So what we do that's a little bit different is artificial intelligence. We can pre-underwrite an entire file. So we do pre-underwritten TBDs, and we can get them done within 18 minutes of having the last document. It's actually 16 minutes in my opinion, but we have underwriters who have their certification, who've been at the top of their industry, top 1% of underwriters in all the country, in you and in Sarah Crespo, who know this industry like the back of their hand, who have a ton of experience, who are young and hungry. You guys are both on the younger end compared to the average age of the 54-year-old, the average age in the mortgage industry. Daddy's home, people. Remember that. What we want is we want loan officers who are going to come in and recognize what we give them, right? We give you the highest pay in the industry. We allow you to grow into leadership roles, to bring on mentees and be a mentor to them and make more money doing that. We are giving away the profits to the business to the loan officer and to our employees. And we're asking people who are sharks, cheetahs, dragons, wolves, grizzly bears. Have you ever seen a grizzly bear? We're asking people who want to go out and hunt, and become big and do very well. We're asking them to come in and to work with us and to understand that we are going to put more backing, more technology in your hands to allow you to do less but make more money than any other mortgage company in the industry and mortgage broker shop in the industry. Now, with that being said, you still have to go out and you have to get business. You have to create realtor partnerships. But we are actively searching for loan officers, especially from the retail channel, who actually want to win for the first time in their life. Because we'll show you how to win. Not that you didn't win on the retail channel. I'm sure you did. But you're going to win by being able to offer lower interest rates, lower closing cost, do less, go prospect more, bring in more clients, and be able to give fully underwritten TBDs in 16 to 18 minutes.
Make more bips.
make more bips. You're making way more bips on our side than you are retail side, so you're going to make more money. So at the end of the day, that's what we're looking for. I wanted to just do that. Donovan, thank you so much for blowing us up all over TikTok. Ben, thank you for what you did today. And for all of you, thank you for watching. I'm Nick Campo. This is Ben Singleton. And Big Boss Ben. And we are the Mortgage Guys Podcast. Or the Loan Guys Podcast. I'm sorry, I was saying mortgage. The Loan Guys Podcast. Thank you for watching. Bang that red subscribe button. Turn on notifications. Go to all our social media. Follow us on everything. We're on all social media platforms. We're NBI Financial Group. That's it. We're out. Peace!